Hello, hello, hello there, my friends. So, have you ever thought about switching up your tuition structure, but then you start to worry about all the things? What if people leave? What if people get upset about me changing that tuition structure? Like, what if everyone leaves? Right? Now, I can tell you this happens a lot in our industry. I talk to people all day long, studio owners all day long. And the question about tuition, money, all of those things starts to pop up. And so, what I wanted to do with you today is my client, Miss Kristen, she's coming in and she's going to share with you her journey on transforming her tuition structure and the amazing benefits that it actually had on her business and her personal life. So, if you're joining us, say, hey, what's up? Let us know that you're here. I always want to know who's with me when we jump on live. And even if you come back in on the replay, we want to know that as well, because I believe that anytime we come on, this should be a conversation. So drop your questions, drop your little aha nuggets. If something resonates with you, we want to know that as well. So let us know that you're here because we want to share and have a conversation with you. If you stumble upon this somehow, I am Erin Bird and I work with studio owners and dance educators to really grow their businesses by creating their own unique vision of success. This is about really looking at what it is that you want without burnout, overwhelm, or sacrificing your personal life, because the truth is that you can have it all. So, my friends, say hello. Let us know that you're here. And I am going to go ahead and let's dive right in today. And I'm going to bring in, hello. Hey. So good to see you this morning. So glad that you're here. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive right in because I think that as an outsider looking in, one, I have to say I'm super proud of everything that Kristen has accomplished. She is in New Jersey, y'all. So we're on opposite coasts, but I absolutely adore everything that she's doing. And I think that she is making such an impact in her community. So I'm going to bring her in. Let's see if this works for us. Fingers crossed, because technology, yay, it worked. I always love when it works. I mean, it's so good. So, hello. I'm so glad that you decided to come on and share
I'm
today.
excited.
Me too, because sharing is caring, right? We always talk about that, sharing is caring. So, um, let's start just kind of in the beginning. So, Kristen, she is, like I said, she's in New Jersey. She's the owner of Wiggle and Giggle. And you know, we've been, oh my goodness, it's been a couple years now, honestly, if I think about it, that we have been working together. And the evolution of your business has been quite remarkable to watch. And I absolutely love like thinking back and from the beginning to now. So can we just dive right in? Because I know that the topic of tuition is really what the catalyst for you to reach out to me about things needing to change. So, do you want to tell people, everyone here, like where you're at in your business and what brought you to that point of you knew you needed to make a little bit of a change? And I'll
So, I guess it was like kind of right after the pandemic. And I wanted to change, I guess, a few things in my business, but I wasn't sure how. And I guess I needed a little push because I was nervous about it. But I was working a full schedule, like every, Monday through Friday morning till 5 o'clock, and I had another teacher also working a full schedule, but I wasn't making, I felt as much money as I should have been with that, many classes going on. So I contacted you.
And so, okay, so which is true. She was working a whole lot of hours. She was teaching a lot and working a whole lot of hours. But when she approached me and we had the conversation. We looked at the numbers, and when we broke it down, it really didn't make her heart sing.
Mm-mm.
She was like, "What is happening here?" Right. And I think, like you said, you knew that it wasn't what you wanted it to be. You weren't sure how to fix it.
Exactly.
Right.
Hmm.
And so, what about the idea of switching your tuition was scary or confusing, or like, how did you start off your tuition structure? Like, I think that's part of it too, is like in the beginning when you started Wiggle and Giggle, what made you decide on the tuition rates that you set?
Um, so I've been in business 10 years now, and I hadn't changed my tuition at all from when I had started. Um, and how I set my tuition structure, I think I kind of just looked at what other people were charging and kind of based it on that.
Mhm.
But also, I was coming from, I had been working as a preschool teacher, and I was just going off of what I was making there, and kind of just being like, this, well, this will be more. um,
Right. Right.
but
And I think, so many times, you guys let me know in the comments. eh, Do you feel like sometimes we don't know where to start? And so we just look at, okay, well, what's happening around us? And well, maybe it's better than what I'm making now. So it'll be good, without actually looking at the math.
yeah, and then
Number one.
once I hired a teacher, it just became difficult, with the what I was charging to also pay for a teacher.
So, and this happens a lot, y'all. So many times, especially when we start as a teacher, let's just say whether you're in a preschool classroom or or you're teaching in a studio, and we look at, okay, I make X amount of dollars an hour, maybe. So we say, okay, I'm going to go out on my own. And then we go out on our own and we're thinking, hey, this is great because it's more than what I was making. But we don't take the time to really look at what is our bigger vision. Because what happens is, it's like in that moment, it seems good. But the moment you hire a teacher or you want to scale your business or you want to grow, you haven't factored that in, and you've actually pigeonholed yourself. And you're like, now how do I raise my rates? Right. But to that point, like, you can't keep charging what you're charging once you have staff, right? Okay, so there's some comments. Definitely refer to other studios in the area rather than based on actuals or goals. Yes, same 22 years ago when I started. Yes. Okay, so you guys, you're not alone, and this happens so often. And it's not because we're like, we just don't know. Most of us just don't know better, because let's be honest, most of us are like, we love dance, we're creatives, and a lot of people wouldn't say that they resonate with, like, no, I'm a business person, right? Like, a lot of people don't say that. I hear all the time, Erin, I'm an accidental studio owner, right? I hear it all the time. Or I didn't get into the business to do the business side. I just want to teach dance. Right? So I get it. And it happens all the time. So, okay, so I think that's an important point to kind of start with, is like, okay, you knew there was a problem and you got to a point where, okay, I can't do this anymore. And so then we started looking at things and we dove into the numbers and the math, and which we also came to find out that bookkeeping is not your favorite task.
Mm-mm. Definitely not.
Okay. It's not mine either. It's not mine either. I don't enjoy bookkeeping. I do enjoy looking at financials though, especially when they're making my heart happy, because I'm like, yes, we're doing so good. We're so profitable, right? That part's fun. But the actual bookkeeping part didn't make your heart sing. And I have to tell you guys, if let me know, do you love bookkeeping? Are you doing your own bookkeeping? Now, I am a fan of delegating the bookkeeping, right? Yes, I'm a fan of delegating the bookkeeping, um, because it also gives you some separation from the finances in a way. The psychology is a little bit different. So if you hand off that, A, it gets done, huh, and B, it comes back to you. Oh, we lost her. Hopefully she'll come right back in. So so you get the clarity around the numbers, because when it's presented to you in black and white and it's not muddled in all the feelings of, well, but this was for costumes and this was, I don't know. I see a lot of times where the light bulb goes off once they get that profit and loss statement back. Once they get that back, it's like, ooh, and then it's in black and white, and it's clear, and it's easy for you to see what you need to do. And so you guys hand off the bookkeeping. So glad that you're back. Uh, technology, y'all. Okay, so we kind of got some clarity, and I gave you some suggestions on how to switch over and restructure your tuition. And when I gave you those suggestions, how did you feel?
I was resistant for sure at first and nervous, and I felt like everyone was just going to be like, this is, we don't want to do this anymore, and I'll see you later.
And was that true?
No, nobody said anything actually.
Wait. Did you say nobody said anything actually?
Yep.
Nobody
Hmm.
said anything actually. My friends, so many times we have so much fear around it. We all have money stories, and we tell ourselves certain things, and we have to really come back to, is this a factor or a feeling? And so, I want you, this is why I think it's so important to have Kristen come on, have some people come on who've lived through it, because it's not just me saying it's going to be okay. And you're like, okay, Erin, but but really, if you like, okay, I'm going to do it scared anyway, right? It all works out okay. And nobody said anything actually. Now, let's be honest, the majority, nobody said anything. There was a couple people who were a thorn in your side, who didn't like to pay their bills.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And so one of the things that I think is important to say is that you made a decision, right? You made a decision in your business when we started working together. And what was the decision when it came to your boundaries, when it came to tuition?
That I needed to enforce the payments and the late fees and all that stuff, which I had not been doing at all.
Okay. So again, not uncommon, right? But if we don't enforce our boundaries, and we don't enforce our late fees, and you have to pay to play, right? Like if we don't enforce those, then what you will allow will continue.
Mhm.
Amen, right? You got some amens, right? Because it's the truth. What we allow will continue. And so one of the decisions that we really got firm on was the fact that you have to pay to play.
Mhm.
You have to honor your commitment. I'm honoring my commitment. I'm going to make sure that you have the best quality instruction that there is. You're going to have the best programming that there is. That comes with a price, and it must be paid on time. And the ones who had a problem with it are the ones that didn't need to be there any longer.
Mhm.
And so you had to release and be okay with letting go of some people, which you did. I know it's
I
scary.
did.
You did. Now, what's happened since you've released and let those people go?
I have more time to do my office work during the day instead of at night after my classes, and I have a whole bunch of new schools that I'm working with that are not giving me any problems at all.
that aren't giving you any problems. She had to clear the deck, right? To make room for more of who she wanted to serve, right? But sometimes we hold on out of fear, or we also have these things that creep in of like, but I love the kids and it's not their fault. And it's not. It is not the children's fault.
Mm-mm.
But at the end of the day, this is a business and we're in the business to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm not saying we're not in this industry, in this business, to do good and to make an impact and to right and to usher the next generation up and for the love of the arts and all of that goodness, my friends. But you can't do more if you're poor. Right, you cannot do for those who genuinely need it if your time and energy is being sucked out by people who aren't in alignment with you and your goal and your vision for your business. And one of the things that I don't think that she mentioned to you is that by removing those people and changing her tuition structure, she actually like doubled her income.
Mm-hmm. And I'm working less.
And she's working less. Anyone else would love to double their income and work less, right? Or exhausted by other people's shenanigans. Yes. Losing dead weight is always good, right? Yes. Losing dead weight is always good. But beautiful, right? Double the income and working less, which I'm sure has a little ripple effect to your personal life, right? Because you're not working 60 hours a week anymore.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. Right? Mm-mm. No, no, no. No, no, no. We're gonna start singing. Okay, so she's not working all these crazy hours anymore. So for you, do you think that there is like if you could impart a few words of wisdom when it comes to the tuition side of things, like thinking back about it and like where you were and where you are now. And then there's been some other amazing things. I mean, like she has this whole other business happening over here that we haven't even talked about. But what would you say to someone who's thinking about, okay, I need to change my tuition structure, or I'm not making the money I like, or, those sort of things? What in hindsight, like, what wisdom can you impart to them when it comes to that? Because I know it can be super scary. And I think listening to other people's stories and journeys is powerful. And so what would you say to someone who's like sitting across the table from you and like, how did you do it? Or what did you like? How do I just bite the bullet and do it? What would you say to them?
I would say definitely just do it scared. Look at your numbers, decide, what you want and what you want to do, and then just do it. And the people that are supposed to fall away will, and you'll find new people to fill in the spots or not. Maybe you'll have Fridays off,
Like
whatever.
you, yeah. Maybe you'll just decide to have Fridays off, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that. I think that do it scared. I mean, we all know, but do it scared anyway. The other thing that I might just add to that is don't say, oh, well, I'll just do it next season or I'll do it over the
Mm-mm.
summer or do it. Like you don't wait because again, if we think about, I don't know about you, but because I'm going to be honest with everyone here, I'm pretty transparent. This is what happened to me all those years ago. It was like I started out and I'm like, it was just me and it was great. And I'm like, woo, awesome. And then as soon as I said, well, I don't want to teach as much. I want to hire some staff to take over some of my classes and whatever. I really found out really quickly that my tuition structure wasn't sustainable, right? To where I wanted to be. So going back to that idea of getting really clear on what is your goals and what is your vision, like not tomorrow, but next year, 3 years, 5 years, right? I actually don't do more than like 3 to 5 because seasons of life change. And I think that 10 years from now, I'm like, oh gosh, you probably in a totally different place in 10 years, right? But 1, 3, 5, like what does it look like? And knowing that will help you plan for the future. So we have to do what we need right now to make sure that we're successful in the future. And playing that waiting game of, okay, well, I can't change my tuition structure right now. Are you crazy? Like I've already, do you have to wait? Not really. Now there's a strategy behind it. We're not just going to like randomly pull something out of the air and then just throw it out there. No, we need to, like, there is a strategy when you roll out tuition structure changes or rates or things of that nature. Like, you guys, I want you to know, just like there is a strategy behind it to make sure that it is copacetic and everybody has the warm fuzzies about about it happening. But don't wait. So if you're thinking about like changing it up, don't get stuck into the telling yourself the story that oh well, in 2024 I'll go ahead and I'll change it. Because I don't know about you, but when I look back at all the money that I left on the table because I was afraid, it kind of makes me mad. I don't know about you. How do you feel about that, Kristen? I don't know. I've never asked you.
Definitely. I wish I had done it sooner, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I think that, it's fear is a funny thing, right?
Mhm.
And we all have it. We all have different levels. And I also want you to know that every time you're ready to like make the next step and go to the next level, you will have fear creep in. And you'll have those thoughts of like, everyone's going to leave. Or if I change my programming because it's not, in alignment. I've had a lot of people come back to me and say, Erin, I don't know that I want to do like make competition my focus anymore, but I'm afraid that if I don't, everyone will leave. And I'm like, well, let's talk about that. Is that a factor of feeling, right? And so we go back to that. But every next level, you will have things creep in, right? You'll have the fear of everyone will leave or imposter say, who am I? Right? Like, even I'm not immune to it. I'm not lying to you guys. I'm not immune to it. Every time I take on this task because I have this big desire, this big goal, and this big dream, I'm like, oh, what am I thinking? When I went to go write the book, I'm like, I am not a writer. What the hell am I thinking? Right? Who am I? But it was on my heart. So I said, no, I'm going to go for it. And if I fail, I fail. Right? But at least I won't live in regret of saying I shoulda, woulda, coulda. So, okay. Now, can we share with them your other little business? I don't want to say little because I guess that's not nice. I'm sorry. Her other business that's for it. So in the last 2 years, like sh- sh- we all are multi-passionate. Let me know in the comments below who here feels like they have all of these really great creative ideas, but they don't either know how to monetize them or if they like derail from their mission of I'm a dance studio owner, I got to take care of that. That's my big thing, right? And so you kind of again back burner things, right? Or you're like I don't know where to start. So when did the first one happen? Like a year ago? A year and half, sometime.
Over a year.
A little over a year. Yeah. So a little over a year, Kristen, she sends me this message. She's like, hey, I have a question. Okay. Right. And she's like, I'm not sure how to deal with this because this is not expected, but it's something I love. And how do we make money from it? Right. So do you want to share with them? Because I think it's important. And here's the thing. I want to tell everyone here You can have your main thing, right? Your dance studio, your mobile program, your whatever. You can have your main thing. But if the pandemic did not teach you anything, or if you didn't pull this nugget out, I hope you're leaning in right now. We should all have multiple revenue streams. Okay. And the reason being, if one shuts down or whatever, can you leverage and work on a different revenue stream while this other one is taking a back seat for whatever reason, right? Because I mean, I don't know, y'all. Some of us had it worse than others when it came to the pandemic and like what your state mandated and things of that nature. New Jersey and California, let me tell you, it was rough. And we're still like climbing out of it, right? Where some of my other clients in other areas were like, oh, yeah, we were closed for like 2 weeks and we were fine. Which I was like, right? So everyone had varying things. But I hope, let me know, did it open your eyes to, I should probably look at multiple revenue streams? Let me know. Okay, so Kristen, do you want to tell them about this whole second revenue stream that kind of just came out of nowhere? I feel like in a way, like it kind of it hit you by surprise, but then you're like, we're on to something here, right? So share with them because I think it goes in, we're talking about money. So let's talk about money. So what came up for you? What is this new revenue stream that you have that's been so good?
So I was approached about writing a curriculum program for a summer camp, which I had never, obviously, I mean, I write my own programs, but I hadn't done it for other people. So it was just kind of shocking. And I was like, oh, I don't know, how to do this. So before I took the meeting, I had a quick chat with Erin.
That's the nice thing about when we work together. I'm kind of in your back pocket, right? And I think that, I mean, I love surveying my clients and I love especially those sort of things like, hey, I don't know how to do this, right? And then the whole idea of what do you charge for that? Right. And so now, since then, she made it was a beautiful little addition to her summer revenue.
Yes, definitely.
We're, it was a good chunk. Now it was good. It was work. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
It was work. But you structured it in a way that allowed her to not only just write the curriculum and hand it over, but say, hey, let me help you train your staff. Let me help you do this. There's a price that came with that. Right? At first, can I share with them? I mean, let's be honest. Did you think that they were going to pay it at first?
No, I did not. And I thought they would even come back with like a counter offer, but they were just like, okay.
Okay. Right. And since then, y'all, she's had other people approach her about writing curriculums for camps that aren't, in competition with her. So the first one was a farm that does summer camps for kiddos, right? On the farm. And they wanted a really strong curriculum. And the camps isn't their main thing. Clearly, they have a farm. They have all these other things to do, but they knew that it was another revenue stream for them, and they wanted to make sure that it was done right. And so since then, she's like, hey, this other one approached me. So it's now starting to become this other revenue stream that is really great. And then another one, right? So my friends, like it's coming, but you found that you love writing curriculum.
I do enjoy it. I do like it.
Yeah. And so it's one of those where she freed up those Fridays from her main thing, right? And then she was able to take in some of the other. Yes. Okay. Yeah. It's an awesome additional stream. And here's the thing. Now, there's a lot of amazing dance curriculums out there, in our industry already. And I think one of the great things for her was, how are we taking something that she is an educator. She's an early childhood educator. I don't want to say first because you're a dancer, but you know what I mean? Like first, and you took those little bits and said, okay, how am I going to apply this? Kids are kids,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it was kind of thinking outside the dance box, right? And really serving in a different way. Now, I have to also tell you that you do offer programming in cooking classes and yoga and things that aren't just dance. So that was also great. But my friends, it's really like, I'm not discouraging you from doing if like you're like, yeah, I want to do curriculum and I would love. I'm not discouraging you from doing it, but just sometimes it's a matter of taking a step back, thinking about what are the skill sets that I have right now, but thinking outside the box, right? Um, yes, great idea. Not in your wheelhouse. So I see the value if I didn't have staff that was good at it. Absolutely, right? And there are businesses out there who need us, right? And so as we're getting things and you're working, Kristen, I've talked about what's her next level goals, right? And she loves teaching. I want you guys to
Mm-hmm.
know she does really love teaching. And so she's like, I don't know if I'll ever give up teaching all the way, right? Maybe just one day a week, right? Because she loves it. But at the same time, she is stepping into her next level and she's like, okay, I'm going to start to just pare down my teaching. And that started, with, okay, now I'm only going to do 4 days. Next year, only 3 days and 2. And then so she can set aside time as well to work on these other additional revenue streams. Okay. So you can free up your time. You can do more, right? It all starts with taking the leap of faith that it's going to be okay. And if you do need support and someone to walk along with you, like get that support. It doesn't have to be me necessarily, it could be somebody else, right? But don't stay stuck in the same place that you are today because of fear. That the what ifs, because the what ifs are just that. What if we switch it to what if it all worked out? What if this is going to be amazing and change the trajectory of my life? Instead of what if they all leave? I don't know. What if? Okay. So thank you. I don't want to take up all the time for everybody. But before we leave, Kristen, I know you said like just do it, right? Like just
Mm-hmm.
just do it scared, right? But what I always like to kind of think about this a little bit. Like what I know. I'm like, I know. I had to think about it for a moment, but I know. Okay. So if you could share with our friends that are here or coming back in on the replay, um, if you could share with them, what is your next, like we talked about, you want to pare down teaching and focus on that. But outside of that, outside of like the business side, because the business side, you guys, I want to tell you something. The business and the personal life go hand in hand. They really do. They are a marriage. And for people to try to tell you like business is separate from your personal life, do you think that's true?
Not definitely not when you own a business.
Yeah, right? Like not when you own a business. So, what is your next big thing, that goal that you're working towards in maybe your personal life, or that is happening because you're making these moves in your business? Like, is it time? Is it a fun trip? Is it a new car? Is it a remodel of your, like, I don't know, like what's something that you really are like working toward? It could be time, friend, I don't know. What are you working toward right now?
I definitely want more time, more days off, so that would be lovely. And I love to travel, so I'm always working on a big trip.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah.
all, it's only possible. if you change up what you're doing, I guess, really.
It really is true, my friends. Like, if you lean into that, so I would love for you guys to share with us too. What's something that you are working towards? We want to hear, we want to cheer you on when you achieve it. And so more time is something that she wants. And, I think for a lot of us, that resonates for a lot of us is more time. Um, and for her, it's that stair step approach. It was like, okay, I'm going to go from working 5 days to 4, 3, 2, 1. And then that allows you. I had a different client tell me, like, I feel like I don't even have time to like go have lunch with my friends anymore, or like take my dog to the park, or like those sort of things. And it's possible. We just have to really be intentional about how do we make it happen. And if you're not in the working in that, I hate to say it, but like we have this whole idea of hustle and grind, that we're not going to be successful or we're not going to get where we want if we're not always working and hustling towards, right? And do you believe that's true now, Kristen?
No, I don't. I don't do lesson plans at night anymore. I have time worked into my, daytime normal work hours. It's completely different.
Mm, completely different.
Hmm.
And that makes my heart so happy to hear, because we don't have to work 60 hours a week to get what we want. It's really true, my friends. So I want to just say thank you for coming on and sharing your journey. My friends who joined us today, or even if you're coming back in on the replay, let us know your thoughts. Let us know if you're ready to make a switch in your tuition structure, and how we can cheer you on, support you, celebrate you, because we're all better together, and that you don't have to do it alone. You really don't. You don't have to do it alone. So we're going to leave you there. I hope that you all have amazing holiday weekend if you're here in the US. And I will see you guys on Wednesday for a very special episode of the Aaron Bird Live Show, where, do you want me to just tell you real quick? I'm going to tell you. It's going to be Preschool Palooza. Like, there is a lineup of like me and the most guests I've ever had on at one time, on our show. And we are going to be dropping the nuggets, the tips and tricks on preschool and rec stuff. Seriously, do not want to miss it. I'm just saying as all. So currently working on your restructure. Yes. So, all right, my friends, we're going to leave you there. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on and sharing your journey with everybody, because I think it can be so impactful and profound for a lot of people to hear that it's possible, really, because it is. So I'm going to leave you all there. I hope you have a fantastic week, my friends, and I will see you guys on Wednesday.